Hello, 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 hello. It is Monday. It is Monday and it's time for another stream. Who would have guessed? Today, yeah, we're gonna begin a new project. I don't know why, but hold on, I need to switch something real quick. Perfect start in this week. We will create a new project. We're going to start a new project, and the new project you will not only see on YouTube in the title, not only in the thumbnail, but also right there in the summary. You can see right there. After we're done with the 30-minute quick sketch, we'll go over to the Reaper Figurine creation, the Final Fantasy XIV Reaper figure creation. I wanted to try something new. That is not only creating a character with, you know, basically a bust of a character, but actually a full character in the style of a figurine that you can see for example, like anime shows, or I have one for Monster Hunter the game. I wanted to try something more like this, where we go through the entire process of working through or creating a character, first the body, then the clothing, and then, you know, posing it and adding some more stuff until we, you know, finish it. Welcome back, Hustler. Hope you've enjoyed your Monday. I don't know what, if that was directed at me in Discord. I don't know what you meant with that. I tried to understand it, but I couldn't. Maybe you can elaborate if it was specifically anything you wanted to say to me. Or, I don't know, clarify overall. Okay. Of course, if you want to only see the second topic today, today we will begin with the, you know, we're going to begin from scratch, from a sphere all the way to the character. We will begin with the body today. We're going to start with the head and then add the body afterwards. Unfortunately, we started a little bit later today, because I couldn't do it earlier. So today will be a little bit shorter, but that's, you know, we'll do what you can today. I don't expect this to be done, you know, next or tomorrow. So this will be a long-term, or like a, I guess you could say mid-term project, medium-term. And yeah, if you only want to see the second topic, you can go into the timeline. There should be timestamps. I actually just remembered that I need to add them to the last two videos as well. But yeah, we're going to begin with the 30-minute quick sketch first. So let's go into Blender and do that real quick. And as I said before, we don't have that much time today, so I want to get through the quick sketch quite quickly. So I don't want to ramble too much. Let's get into it. Where's my timer? There it is. I think everything's ready, so we can begin. So we have this turtle today, this old, you know, fantasy kind of like turtle with these two real life references, just to kind of, you know, have some real reference next to the fantasy sketch. So I would say we can begin in a few seconds. 30-minute quick sketch. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Almost forgot to record. There you go. Perfect. Okay. 30-minute quick sketch begins in 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Okay. Let's begin with the, what is it? Oh yeah, the quick sketch. Let's go. So we usually begin with the head. So let's begin with the head. You can see the head is pretty flat at the top. So we're just going to pull it up like this. There you go. Looks quite similar. I actually, you know, when I thought about how I want to start the bust today, or not the bust, the character, and I thought about, you know, usually I always start with the head, just like how I do right here. I start with a head. I actually thought about like why I do that. So why do I always start with the head? If there's something, you know, like maybe there's a better way to do it. And I just kind of thought about, well, why do I even, like, you know, start like this? And you know, the short time that I thought about it, I don't know, I just kind of, you know, looked at it, and I thought, well, it's probably just because I'm used to doing it that way. I don't really think it's because there's like oh well, the head is like the root of, I don't know, the the body or whatever, you know. I don't think there's really anything special about the head that makes it so that when you start with the head, just the overall scope will be better. I just think that it's just, I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't really know. I think it's just because I'm used to starting with the head, and you know, that's why I always start with it. Okay, so as always, we begin with the head. Who would have guessed? And we're gonna go over to the body afterwards. I think I plan on creating the full body. I think otherwise it looks kind of weird, so I don't want to spend too much time on the head. But of course we need to still put down the basics. So I'm looking at the head shape, putting in the eyes and all that stuff. Once I'm kind of comfortable with everything else, and then we can go over to the next part. There you go. Pull this down. Perfect. So, of course, I try to kind of recreate what we see there in the sculpt. So I also will add this sort of flat top for his or her or their head. There you go. Just kind of get that in there as well. Maybe you have the tip there as well. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to grab this back here. Hold on. There you go. We're going to grab the mask brush and make it bigger. Yeah, I think so. I've seen a few people do it before. I've actually seen somebody, you know, sculpting a like figurine in real life, and that kind of inspired me to do the same in Blender, you know. And maybe not really, you know, only doing a bust, because I've done that quite often now. I wanted to go a little bit deeper and do something that we haven't really done before on stream, and I myself haven't really done that too much. I've created full body characters before, but I didn't really go into too much detail with them when it comes to the body, for example. Only really when I hold on, I'm just gonna check. Okay, it seems to be all right. The bitrate was kind of laggy for a second, so I kind of, in the beginning, it was super bad, so I'm just checking if everything's okay. Yeah, so I kind of, you know, wanted to go into some more complex stuff, you could say. Challenge myself a little bit and go into something that I've, yeah, that I wanted to do for a while but never did before. So now I'm just going for the full body. Of course, we have quite a long body for this tortoise turtle. I think it's a turtle when it's in the water, right? So we're going to do this. We also have the lower body right here. We also need to keep in mind that the fins are below the body, so the body isn't as long as the fins, so we don't need to pull it that far down. But of course right now it's super thin, so why don't we make it wider. There you go. Okay. We're gonna, okay, let's see. So I'm gonna, let's see. We're gonna sculpt the shell, just kind of like a silhouette, I guess, just to begin. And then we can go into more detail. Just kind of map out where everything should be to begin with. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Well, it's not looking perfectly, but that's okay because we're starting with the general shapes, and this will enable us to just do some very simple adjustments. So we're gonna begin with stuff like the body. Let's see. So first of all, what I'm seeing is that the neck is too thick, so let's add some more detail there. I'm gonna remove the mask so it's easier to kind of create a nice transition here. There you go. Put that in there. Keep this sort of chest region there. I actually removed too much, so let's add more. There you go. Okay, so it looks like they the creature has more than 4 limbs. It seems like they have like 2 big ones on the side and then maybe even 2 on the outside. And then what is it, like 2 or 4 more below that, or no, in between those. So let's see if we can get those in there as well. There you go. Okay, so the shell is there. Perfect. We need the rest. So one thing that I kind of see is that the neck is quite big, but the body doesn't really add to that. It's kind of staying the same volume. So I'm just going to add some more. I'm probably going to pull the full body a little bit further down. There you go. Smooth it. Okay. Once we have that, I think we can pull it down a little bit more. The body's quite big. Everything else kind of needs to follow that. Also, one thing that I want to do here is I want to make it so that the shell is kind of the last thing you have here. So I'm going to remove all this so we can have maybe like a tail in the back, and everything else is kind of underneath the shell. That's kind of the idea right now that I have. Also looks kind of like that in the sketch. There you go. Perfect. Maybe we can do it like this. There you go. Looks kind of weird right now. Let's see if we can adjust it. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to leave it there. It looks kind of small, but that's okay. Okay, let's begin with the actual mass of the body, or what shapes the body's silhouette, I guess you could say. First, the first fin. There you go. I'm just going to do this, kind of create a nice ending here. Then I'm going to grab the good old mask and create the first fin. There you go. Invert, grab the snake hook brush and put it over here. Quite low, you can see how far down it goes. I'm just going to do this. There you go. And I'll make this bigger. Oh, hold on. Do we have things enabled? No, we don't. Do we? Nope, we don't. Front faces are not enabled. Just to kind of make them bigger, similar to what they look like in the sketch. Okay, let's go to the next one, which would be down here. Grab the next one. I'm probably going to do another sort of, I think we need to definitely remove some of this volume here. This is too much. We have 20 minutes left. Perfect. Yeah, I think so. I think when I began sculpting sort of, you know, doing quick sketch sculpting rather than sort of like, I don't know, for example, environments I've done before. I think what I've sort of struggled with was doing the full body. I think what was the problem was that I focused too much on the head, and probably also, you know, not only that, but, you know, overall, I guess, experience, you could also say, played in that as well. But I think overall I focused too much on the head, which kind of led me to lose a lot of time, which, you know, it's kind of... Oh. Kind of... bad when you do these quick sketches. So these lower fins will be a little bit smaller, but of course not super small. Kind of keep the same shape. Do something like this. There you go. Pull it forward. Okay. So this will be the second fin. They can probably fin out some more. Okay, perfect. Let's do the next few. One thing that I kind of see right now is that we can probably pull these a little bit further into the middle. It looks kind of too small right now. Maybe we can make the shell a little bit bigger. There you go. Okay, perfect. Let's do, okay, I need to do a few adjustments here on the chest. You can see we need to have a little bit less here. We have added too much here, so just removing it should do the trick. Oh, hold on. That's the hardest part when you have these overlapping pieces here. It's kind of, I don't really know how to get rid of these or how to really work with them, because now, you know, we have this, you know, this still works, but it overlaps now to the new geometry. Maybe, what was the other one? Doing it like this, that's so annoying. Oh, but it kind of works, I guess. Not really, but, you know. There you go. Okay. Better than nothing. So now they can actually work underneath the fins as well. Just gonna remove some room there, some volume. There you go. Oh. There you go. Okay, so one thing I think that is also missing, hold on. So first of all, what we need to do here is probably pull this further in. This kind of looks weird right now. We also can probably expand it further into the mouth, just to kind of give it some more room here. For not only the tongue, but the rest of the mouth. Kind of extend the neck over here. Add some more volume. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that, let's kind of give it some more detail. First of all, we're going to begin here and add these sort of veiny parts. I don't really know how to describe them. They go down like this. Perfect. We have more of the neck muscle that kind of goes around the neck like this, that then goes into sort of the shoulder part here. Perfect. I'm actually going to keep the structure that, you know, gets created from the brush that I use. The what is it called? The clay strips brush. There you go. Gonna go over to the top, do the same there. There you go. Add some more structure here. I think that can really help make this look more realistic, or I guess, you know, add some more detail that makes it look a little bit better. There you go. We also don't have a, you know, the head isn't really that developed yet, so let's go into that some more. First of all, I'm going to pull this up a little bit, go in here and dig in here. Let's see. There you go. Pull it up a little bit so we can have some, I don't know, I like it when it's there's some more room at the top than at the bottom. There you go. Okay. Making I don't know what you call that in English, like this overhang at the jaw, like this. A little bit more maybe in the front. It looks kind of weird. There you go. Just a little bit. Makes them look a little bit older because I don't know, especially for comic characters, they always have this, or older people, they seem to have this sort of overhang for their mouth, because they don't have any teeth anymore. So it seems like their upper part of the jaw just kind of recedes, and the lower jaw just gets higher in the end, or is just higher in the end. Higher and more like further forward. Exactly, underbite. Oh. Okay, we have, oh wow, we have 30 minutes left. It's crazy. I thought we have like 6. Well, we can work some more on this. Perfect. Okay. So one thing I want to do here is probably pull the jaw a little bit higher, just because it's kind of too far back. Maybe even pull it forward a little bit. There you go. It's kind of scuffed right now, so we can kind of adjust it a little bit. Maybe this part here as well. Okay. Let's see. So we have this piece here. Okay. One thing that I kind of want to keep in mind is that they oftentimes have these sharp angles in their jaw, which you can also see in the one in the sketch. It's just kind of these sharp edges and corners. I want to keep that here, so I'm gonna try to emulate that with the crease brush. So let's now add the eyes. I don't think we can really add eyes that look like this. Well, maybe, we'll see. Depends on how we need to shape the eyes then. Oh, there you go. Okay, let's see. Let's just add the silhouette and then we can work it into the head. There you go. Look at him. He looks more high than anything else. Doesn't matter. There you go. Okay, now that we have the eye hole, we can add the rest. One thing that no, actually, this works quite well. So I'll grab my crease brush and just add an eyelid here. Because the eyelid needs to go over the eye, we need to kind of pull the upper eyelid a little bit further out. Otherwise, we can't really add the eye, or the eye will not really fit into the eyeball. So I'm going to pull everything a little bit more in here, like this. And then we have some more room here to play with. Pull this out and grab the crease brush so we can dig in here a little bit more, make some more room. Define the eyeball, I guess, eye hole a little bit more. There you go. Perfect. I think that can work. One thing I want to do though is I kind of want to give him some sort of eyebrow. I think that could make him look more, I don't know, just add a little bit more character. Like this. You know, it doesn't have to be much. Just kind of like as if the edge kind of, I don't know, falls down there and kind of creates an eyebrow like this. I think that could look quite cool. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to go in here and do some more work. Oh, there you go. Grab this and detail the beak, you could say, a little bit more. Oh, there you go. The nose looks pretty good. I like it there. Maybe, oh, I want to make it like sharp, how it is in the reference. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. Pull this up. There you go. That's pretty cool. There you go. Okay. Grab it and pull it down like this. We can maybe give him some sort of like smiling expression by just adding some more volume up here. It looks like as if he's like smiling and pushing his, you know, sort of his cheeks up like this. Okay. So now that we have some more detail in the body, let's add some more in the rest of the head. First of all, maybe here in the neck. We have 9 minutes left. Perfect. Usually when we get to 9 minutes or less, that's when it gets really stressful. I don't know why, but then I just forget about time and everything just zooms by. Maybe we can avoid that this time. Let's see. So the arm definitely needs some more work here. One thing that I want to do here is kind of probably create a better transition to the body. So I'm just going to grab this and kind of rotate it outwards. I mean, yeah, outwards basically, to actually make the shoulder connect to the body properly. Otherwise the finish is kind of going into the body rather than into a joint, I guess you could say. There you go. Oh, hello. We have some problems here. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you for the notice. There you go. Quick sketch day 204. Perfect. Okay. Now we kind of turn it in and into the side of his neck, like this. I think that makes for a better transition. I also want to kind of highlight his shell a little bit more. Just going to do this, create a nice crease underneath it. There you go. Maybe even do the same, but in the reverse, pulling some more geometry out. There you go. End it pretty high here. There you go. Okay, so he has a certain pattern on the back, which is kind of, you know, time consuming. I don't know if I'm gonna copy it 100%. One thing that I want to do though is I actually want to copy his second fins that he added, or they added. So I'm just gonna do this and pull out 2 more. Invert and pull it out. Probably further from the front, maybe even more into the middle, like this. They have no volume right now, so we need to fix that. Shouldn't be too hard though. Make it more like a fin shape rather than a wing shape. There you go. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Okay, let's go and make this, detail this out some more. Can I create a better separation from the fin and the body? There you go. We could add, yeah, let's add 1 more. Shouldn't be too hard here. Just go in here, do this, and grab the mask brush, invert, and pull them out. These ones will be smaller, just like the other ones. There you go. Oh, we can't really see the inside. That's kind of hard to do now. The tail looks kind of interesting, an ominous shape, I'll call it. Maybe we'll change that at some point. There you go. Okay, I think that's okay. Let's change the tail. The tail looks too round, in my opinion. It needs some more sharpness. There you go. Okay, one thing that usually they have is like an underplate, so I'm just gonna add it right here. Maybe, let's see, like this. Just kind of emulate it, I guess. Will not be perfect, but it's better than nothing, I guess. There you go. Was kind of weird, but that's okay. What is that? Why does it look so weird? There you go. Oh, I don't want to carve in. I want to, add. There you go. So now we actually have some more time. Oh, hold on. 4 minutes. Okay. Do we have front faces only on? Nope, we don't. Yeah, now we can. So now we can add some more detail to the fins just by doing this. By utilizing the power of the clay strip brush, we can add this very, very simple texture to the fins. Very, very simple. Very, very easy. Look at that. Just how Bob Ross uses his brush to create a tree in a few seconds. We can use the clay strips brush to add some more structure to the fins. Do the same on the other ones, and maybe we'll have some more time to do some other stuff as well. We'll see. There you go. Go to the inside, do the same. Inside will not be that visible, but it still be visible somewhat, so kind of want to go in there as well. Oh, so yeah, as I talked about it before, I think, you know, doing full body characters in Quick Sketches 30 minutes is definitely possible, but I think definitely depends on what kind of, you know, full body It is. So I think the one that I'm kind of thinking about was sort of like a mouse rat type character, you know, and they have like the super, I guess, small limbs, and it's kind of hard to sculpt them. So maybe these ones could be harder to sculpt, but I think overall it's definitely possible. As you can see here, you know, we created a complete what do you call it? A complete tortoise, turtle, whatever, in 30 minutes. There you go. I actually used the wrong matcap for the last few sketches, just because I forgot to add the one that I guess the fine-tuned version from Photoshop. I forgot to add that to Blender, so I used a brighter version. But now this is the final version, a little bit darker, but I think it works quite well. There you go. Because it's a little bit darker, you can see the differences in, I guess, volume a little bit better, which I definitely wanted to, I guess, have. Like, that was like one of the main goals. Really see the different levels and different parts of the geometry from every angle, basically. Yeah, I can post it in the Discord. I actually forgot about that. I wanted to do that last week, but I didn't. Okay, we have 1 minute 36. Why don't we add some more detail to the shell? Just gonna begin like this, I guess. Create the shape. Yeah, like this. There you go. Very, very loose, but, you know, better than having a smooth, you know, shell. There you go. Doing some freestyle pieces here, maybe going in with the crease brush to kind of enforce the structure. Oh, that was the wrong side. There you go. There you go. Looks way better than before. We could maybe even use the clay source brush to kind of fill these holes that are kind of supposed to be, you know, quite smooth. Or not really smooth, but at least smoother than what they are right now. There you go. Okay. Yep, that looks pretty good. And we're over. Perfect. This looks pretty good. I like it. Let's add the eyes. Hold on. Let's save it first. Just saving to be safe. Where's my UV sphere? There it is. Make it smooth. Oh, smooth. And then smaller. This turned out pretty good. I like it. It's quite a simple, I guess, animal, but I'm quite happy that we could add some more detail than I actually expected. So the wait, what I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Usually I don't really get to that point where I can add or where I can think about detail, but now that I kind of decided to stick to the first level of detail, it's definitely way easier to do that. So yeah, if you only stick with one level of detail or one level of resolution, you can focus way more on the shape and adding detail by just, you know, using the crease brush, for example, not only adding but also removing, or vice versa. Geometry, you can create really nice detail without having to add more resolution. And the problem usually with adding more resolution, what did I do? Wait, what? Hold on. The problem with adding more resolution usually, oh, wow, wait, what did I do? I think I pressed save as, and I deleted one of my old files. I basically saved it as that. Hold on, I need to save it again. Oh no, there you go. Okay. There it is. Collection. There it is. I want my lighting. Perfect. We need backface culling. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, if you only stick with the first resolution layer, it's way easier to, first of all, finish the scope. And what I always found is when I add more resolution, I always see, oh well, I can now add so much more detail. And then I just, you know, go ahead and reinforce all the edges, I guess you could say, that were already in this sculpt, just to kind of, you know, make them more visible, or, you know, more, you know, yeah, basically visible, which doesn't really add more detail, but just, you know, robs you time. So by just not doing that and sticking with the first level of resolution, you can focus way more on the overall shape and structure. No, you can focus way more on the overall shape, save time, and still can add some detail by just using the brush, I guess, texture, the brush inherent texture. And yeah, adding detail like that. Okay. We don't need the timer anymore. There you go. Okay. So we have lighting. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Let's adjust it. Definitely not the best right now. So I think I want to keep the light at the top there. I want to move it further back though. Like this. I still want to highlight the mouth a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's pretty good. I like it. Do we need to change the light position? This scope is pretty big. We could make it smaller, but I actually want to keep it that big probably. The lighting looks okay. Sometimes when the scope is too big, the lighting looks weird. But with this one, it works quite well. Okay, one thing we need still is the material. Where's my material? There it is. There you go. Wait, is that the one? No, wait, did I append the wrong one? This one. Wait, oh, maybe I used a different one? I'm appending from a different file now, so maybe this one's the wrong one. This one doesn't have one, hold on. I guess I can just grab from yesterday's. There you go. Oh, okay. Wait, what? This one? No. No, that's for the eye. Hold on. There you go. This one should have one. There it is. Ah, look at that. Now we can actually add the material to the eye. There you go. Look at him. You can't really see the eye because it's reflective and black. So we need to do a few adjustments. Before we do that though, I want to kind of increase the black parts here for the sculpt, just to kind of enhance the structure a little bit. This looks pretty good. I like it. Save it. And now we need one more light to bring some life into the eyes. I'm going to rotate it so we can see the reflection in the eye like this. Look at him. We can now see the reflection. There you go. We're going to probably set it to 50. Yeah, there you go. I always try to strike a balance between adding this sort of, you know, shimmer or reflection in the eye and not washing out the dark tones of the sculpt or the lighting too much. For example, if I set this to 400, you can see there's not really any shadow anymore. So I try to keep it at 50, maybe even 30. So we can still see the reflection in the eye, but it's not removing too much of the shadow basically, or too much darkness, depth. There you go. Wait, oh no, that's the wrong one. There you go. Perfect, test render is done. Let's do some post-production. Where are you? There you are. Okay, threshold 2. There's just a small, actually I want to keep it at 1. Maybe we can set it to high so that the glow isn't as big. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Perfect. Save it. Okay. Let's do the final render. Times 8. Perfect. Nice. Perfect. Let's do the final render, which means it is time for some water. There you go. Hydrate. I just ate, so I'm feeling quite full still. I never had it enabled, but of course if you go into preferences, I can't really show you because I would have to set it to display capture. But if you go to system and then cycles render devices, I have it on CUDA. You can, hold on. You can tick multiple options here. I never thought about that. I actually just thought you can only check one, but you can check both. So you can render even faster. So all the time I've only rendered with the graphics card. Now I'm using both. So it should be even faster. Yeah. I'm not quite sure if that's the case or if I don't know how it works, but I don't know. It looks faster by the way it's rendering, so seems like it's working. $7 seconds. The only reason why I'm kind of hesitant to say that it's faster is because the quick sketches usually take like 3 minutes, and this one, you know, will take 3 minutes. So I don't really know if it's faster or I don't know how it works. But I enabled it. It looks faster. The good thing with using both is that it somehow just renders the entire like image, and then it just enhances it more and more and more for every tile, or you know, denoises it or adds more. I guess, you know, calculates it more and more and more. So you can see the full render before it's completely done, which is quite convenient. Yeah, that's definitely one positive aspect of using both. Oh, we're done? Nope, almost. There you go. Oh yeah. I gotta see that the eye is kind of washed out, but we can kind of bring that back with some post-production. You can see it right here. There you go. Just kind of widened out, you could say. So let's save this in here and do some post-production. Oh. Quick sketch number 204. There you go. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's do some post-production in Photoshop. I'm kind of, you know, doing this quickly today because I want to have as much time as possible to go into the scope. I mean, into the big project. Let's go in here, selective color correction, just going to bring down the gray tones, just going to bring in some more depth. There you go, make the background a little bit darker. Go into the whites, maybe bring in some more contrast there. Perfect. We could also use another contrast node, just gonna contrast adjustment layer, just gonna enhance the contrast even more. And then what I usually use is my good old texture to bring in a texture, I guess. Some like an interesting texture on top of the image. There you go. Maybe not necessarily necessary, but I like to add it. So here it is, 50%. There you go. That's just an interesting style to it. One thing that we talked about last stream, which was on Thursday, was how to add color to a grayscale render. I've looked at like a technique, I guess, which is pretty simple. So we're probably gonna try that at some point. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You basically have these adjustment layers. We can use them in just a second. Hold on, save it. Okay, so you have this adjustment layer that you're gonna add, which is this one, gradient, whatever, which lets you change. It's similar to color ramp, where you can set a color for a certain value, I guess. Yeah, for a certain value. So what we can do here, for example, is we can go in here and we can delete this. And we say, oh, well, the shell is supposed to be, what is it? Yeah, some sort of color. So we can select this. There you go. Do it like this, very, very roughly. We select this. Very, very roughly. Go in here and we say this. There you go. Now it's immediately selected, and now we can go in here. We can use one of the, the standard ones, or we can make our own. We can begin with this, for example. Oh, that's interesting. Why don't we begin with a green one? Oh, hold on. There you go. When I'm doing it so quickly, I can't really... Wait, why can't you see my window? That's weird. What is that? Hold on. That's so weird. You can't even see my window. There you go. Okay. There you go. And then we can go in here and, for example, use stuff like green. And there you go. And now it's green. Of course, it's kind of weird. We can... What is it? Oh, welcome back, Zachary. Hope you had a great weekend. Maybe a great Monday. We're just looking at how you can add color to a grayscale image, in Photoshop at least, by using the color ramp basically in Photoshop. See, now it's nice and green. We can, of course, adjust these things. Maybe we can make it darker, black, maybe even add some, I don't know, bluish in here. There you go. We could also change this one. And the dude that I looked at said that usually he works with like five colors. So he adds one in the middle, of course, for 50%, and then one for 75, and then for 25. There you go. And then he adds just these colors a little bit. He goes in here, for example, and let's see, what do we have here? There'll be something pretty dark here. What about this? Make it more dark greenish, maybe a little bit brighter. There you go. Perfect. We go in here. Oh, what is that? There you go. Make this a little bit dimmer, 50%. Let's see, what type of color? Let's go with something bluish. We're gonna go with blue. It looks pretty cool. Perfect. We go in here, do the same. This one will be 75%. There you go. Bluish even more. Well, that's kind of harsh. Who cares? We're gonna go with that. And then in here, we do the same. This one will be completely bright. Saturation down. Okay, the colors look kind of weird right now. We can have to adjust the colors. But of course, this is just a test. Oh, I know why, because this is so desaturated. We can probably switch the two. That should be easier. There you go. And now we have I guess, some sort of value, some sort of gradient. We could do the same for the entire thing and fine tune it some more, but that's an easy way to do it. Okay. Do I need you? Yeah, I do. Save you. There you go. Perfect. and we save. It is in JPEG. Oh, we already did. Hold on. Well, we're gonna do it again because I want to. Okay, let's save it one more time and then we're done. Perfect. Okay. We have this, copy it into my phone to upload it, and then we can begin today's topic. And probably a longer topic, you know, spanning over multiple streams. Haven't done that in quite a while. You know, usually we do one topic a stream. This one will, you know, be a little bit longer than even 2 days. There you go. Okay. Perfect. So I'm gonna upload this. You're gonna see the good old compilation, and then we're gonna begin with today's topic: creating a Final Fantasy XIV Reaper figurine in Blender. We're gonna begin with the body. We're gonna start with the head, and then we're gonna continue with the body. So before we do that, though, of course, compilation and upload. I'm going to see you in 3 minutes when we will begin. So hope you enjoy the compilation. I'll see you then. Perfect. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Back to standing. Bring back the music. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So we're gonna not need you anymore. We don't need you anymore. Let's create a new file. So I thought about adding or using a, base mesh. I have one which is already rigged, which, can be quite useful. But I actually thought about starting from scratch, at least for this one. Just so we can, create at least one character, a full body character, just from complete scratch from a sphere. I think that can be quite, quite helpful, rather than immediately starting with a, base mesh that already has the full body, maybe even the face, where we basically only have to add the clothing. I think it's more valuable. And also, just a little bit of practice for me to sculpt the entire body. Let me just quickly do something real quick. Okay. Do we need anything? I think so. Okay. Let's begin with the plan. So the plan will be to sculpt the head first, and then we're going to go to the body. As we said before, I don't know, I just like starting with the head and the body afterwards. So we're going to begin with the head. The head doesn't need to be super complex because, you know, the character will have his face covered, basically everything except for the eyes. But of course, if we, I don't know, create some variations or whatever, and just to kind of, you know, create the clothing around the face, we still need everything else, you know, the face itself. So we're definitely going to sculpt it, but we're going to make it more generic than, you know, maybe the other sculpts that we created, because the face is really the focus. Also, we yeah, we're going to begin with the body today. The plan will be to get the general shape of the body today, and then we can tomorrow probably, or so the plan will be to create the head, just a basic head basically, and then the body in terms of its proportions and every limb and all the stuff, adding all of that, and then basically afterwards going into the major muscle groups, kind of defining those. We're going to begin with, you know, using spheres and all that stuff to sculpt all, or to begin blocking out the body. But of course, before we do that, let's get into the head. Before I begin though, I want to kind of, what do you call it? I guess structure my references in my pure ref scene. Hold on. Where do I find them? There it is. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the references that I have. So I always, of course, have references, not only for the look of the character, but also for something, you know, more, I guess, overarching, which is, for example, the pose. So first of all, I grabbed all the references that I could find when it comes to the look of the character. The problem is the class, the Reaper in Final Fantasy, isn't out yet. So we don't really have good, I guess, you know, gameplay footage, for example, for the model itself. It was like 720p or something, and they were constantly moving, so we couldn't really grab the look, for example, when it comes to the details of, I don't know, the belt and whatnot. So we kind of have to work with something else. Luckily, though, there was this sort of concept art where we can see the shape of the glaive. Of course, this is just, I guess, one armor set. There will be more, but this is kind of the one that is kind of the flagship, you could say. We're going to go with this one. So we have this one where you can kind of see, okay, well, he has some gloves on. He has some arm braces, some leg braces, or whatever you call them, knee, whatever. Some armor pieces, some light armor. He has this scythe with this interesting shape. This is the first reference that I basically grabbed, and then I looked into the gameplay footage, the one trailer that we have, like 2 minutes long or so, showing off all the attacks, where we can see some more detail, for example, for the legs, for what the pelvis looks like, the chest piece, like there, maybe even the helmet. I mean, the helmet, the head. We have this one as well. I think lead producer or director of the game, talked about the class on the last, I guess, convention, where they showed off, you know, the new DLC or update, and they dressed as the character or the class. So we have some pretty detailed references. Actually, we don't really have the real, I guess, in-game character, but we can still work with these sources. So I didn't only grab the, you know, the concept art. Oh, not only that, I also found a few more. Of course, this was a video which is perfect, a video where you can grab a lot of references from different angles. So we have, you know, another side view here where you can see a little bit more of the, not only the scythe, but also the head, for example, sort of what his chest piece looks like. We have this one, just to kind of see the top of the helmet. Why do I always say helmet? The head. We can see some detail on the glaive or the scythe. We can see these buckles up here for these sort of leather strap that hold this, I guess, cape together. We have this full body shot, which is perfect. So now we can at least see the complete front of the character. We can see he has some sort of leather pants with this, you know, different protection measures, I guess you could say, with these shells there as well. And this belt, I think a double belt, of course. And then, you know, a few more angles. You can see the side view here. Just gonna see the cape a little bit more. We unfortunately don't really have a backside, but the backside wasn't really super interesting, just because there wasn't really that much, you know, to see. That was basically just the cape. The back, you know, if the cape is above the back, what are you supposed to put in there anyway? You know, we're gonna put the cape in there. We can maybe interpret some stuff in there ourselves. Maybe, of course, in the course of working on this, we can find some more stuff. But this is basically the general reference for the character, the look of the character. And then I also went into something more. Exactly, Bloodborne Farmer Edition. I actually grabbed some Bloodborne references, I think, as well. I think, no, this one's not from Bloodborne. But these ones, like the other artworks that I grabbed, like this one or this one, also this one, and then this one, were more for the pose. Usually these figurines, they're not really there to be moved. They're just there to kind of portray the character. And sometimes they just stand there. Sometimes they have this sort of super like fighting pose or some sort of pose where you can kind of show off the nature and the aesthetic of the character. So I kind of was looking for an interesting pose that we could give the character or the figurine once we kind of pose it. So I thought about different, you know, styles. We also have to incorporate the wraith or whatever, the ghost you could say, into the character. So we're not only sculpting the dude, but also the this wraith monster thingy. So I kind of was looking for a pose that would kind of bring both together in a way that looks good. So we have this one, for example, where he has this scythe on one side, kind of going over the ghost. The ghost is on the other side, the shoulder. I think my favorite pose out of all of them that will probably work the best is I thought about this one because this one is super dynamic, but I think I don't know, I don't think it'll work that well if it's supposed to be grounded on the floor. So the one that I probably will use is this one, just because you can still kind of see the glaive. It is some sort of a dynamic pose still, but you can now because you have this sort of triangle here, there's a little occupied room on this space on this side. You can still put the wraith on the other side just to kind of fill the room up here. So there's still room for the wraith. It's just, you know, not, for example, like here on the right side, but it's more on the left side. I don't want to put him like this sitting. I want to give him a standing pose just so, you know, first of all, a little bit easier to to sculpt the character and pose him like that. And also just, you know, because I wanted to create a more original pose. It's not fully original, but it's better than, you know, copying what we see here. So yeah, those are the references. The chest piece might be based on actual armor that you could use. Yeah. This reference board will probably, you know, expand the more we get into it. We don't really need to care about it in the first few streams where we sculpt the body. So, you know, this one, especially, you know, stuff like this will probably be more important once we get more into it. But, you know, at least we have some references to begin with. Let's put them in here and sort them out a little bit. I mean, we could probably keep them like this, actually. I don't really need to, you know, give them a certain order. Well, we could maybe say, well, the poses could be down here. Then we have the look references up there. There you go. Is there one more? No. Okay. We're gonna put the gameplate probably up top. No, we're gonna use him as the main reference. This one, just because we can probably see the most in this one. Then also the other one right here. Put it right underneath, just so we can have more of the character, or basically, there you go. Just to kind of, you know, remove all the unnecessary room around the character. We can cut it out like this, and these two will probably be the main references. This one as well, because this one is more the, I guess, art, which kind of highlights some features a little bit better, gives us maybe some more, you know, detail on the overall design, and then we just place them like this. So we have the rest down here. Where's the other one? There it is. Okay. Perfect. Oh, hold on. Oh. There you go. Two more. There you go. Okay. So we have the, I guess, look references here, and then down here we have the pose references. Just kind of, you know, I like to put them in order just so we can, so I know where I need to go when I want looking for something specific. Where's my pen? Oh, there it is. You know, when I say, oh well, I want to look more. Oh, but what is his legs? What do his legs look like? Well, I can see it right here. I don't have to look around and find it. I know exactly where it is. The upper body, I mean the full body is up here. The more detailed shots are in the middle, and then down here we have the poses and the in-game shots. So yeah, everything is set up, so we can begin with the sculpt. We're going to begin with the head, as I said before. So let's get into that in just a second. Hold on. I need to set up one more thing, and then we can begin. Oh yeah, I like to start with the head, just because, well, the head is actually like the root or a good source of proportions for the body, just because a head is a good measurement for the length of everything. For example, the upper body, well, the full body is like 7.5 to 8 heads. The, you know, 4 heads make up the upper body, 4 heads make up the lower body. 2 heads is the length of the what is it, the thigh, and then 2 heads is the calf. So it's quite convenient that way, to start with the head, because then we can use it to basically measure everything else out. So that's why I basically use it. Hold on, my bitrate is fluctuating, which leads to some drop frames, which is annoying. Let's see if that works. Switching the bitrate, I guess, I don't know, encoding, the way it's encoding sometimes fixes it, and most of the times. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, let's begin with the head. As I said before, the head isn't that important. As you can see here, he actually, of course, opened, you know, kind of lowered his sort of scarf that he has there, so we can actually talk, and you can see him. But if you look at the in-game model, this one, well, yeah, you can see his eye like down there, but everything else is covered by this sort of, it's not a scarf, but it's part of the cape that is covering his face. Can you see it here? No, not really. And that's probably the plan for, actually, should we add, so this one has a free head. Well, this one also doesn't have a head. I think I want to make it closer. I want to bring it closer to the in-game character. So we're definitely going to add the helmet. And I'm probably also going to put this sort of, I don't know, drape, scarf, whatever, around his face. So we don't really need to focus too much on the face. The only really important thing would be the eyes. Okay, let's begin with the face. We're going to go in here and we're going to begin sculpting. Okay, let's make a quick and dirty head to begin with, and then we can create the body. I've done so many head quick sketches by now that I'm kind of, you know, used to sculpting heads quickly, or I've kind of trained now. So it's a little bit easier now. Hold on, this looks weird. I'm gonna begin with the eyes. Nope, I'm gonna begin. Actually, no, I'm gonna begin with the eyes. Oh, put it roughly in the middle of the head. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Oh. Cheekbones, just to bring in the general, basically bringing in the general landmarks of the face to begin the sculpt. You know, if you add the general landmarks, you will create a head quite fast. There you go. Perfect. Okay, put the jaw a little bit lower, give it some more structure there. Perfect, make it a little bit thinner. There you go, perfect. Okay. We're going to add these holes on the side. Before we do that though, I'm going to add some more volume here to the side of the head and then dig in right here to create the next landmark, the holes behind the eye. There you go. Perfect. Doesn't need to be super fancy. Just a very standard head shape, I guess. We can add the next part, which would be the nose. Before we do that though, I kind of want to reinforce this part down here, the cheekbone. Welcome, Manica. Hope you enjoyed your day. Welcome. My focal length for sculpting is the basic focal length. I think that is always, you know, the standard in Blender, which is, hold on, 50 millimeters. You can set it to 85, for example, just to kind of remove some more of that, I guess, what do you call it? Perspective stretching or perspective distortion. The closer you are, the more kind of the shapes of the head morph a little bit. By setting it to 85, maybe even 120, you can make it super flat if you like that. But I've only ever worked with 50, so that's what I usually use. Maybe there's a downside to using 50. Maybe, you know, 85 is better, but I've never tried it. Maybe that's one thing we can try at some point. But yeah, I've never done it before, so maybe at some point. Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, that's too much. There you go. So yeah, I'm just bringing in the basic landmarks of the face right now, like the eyebrows, the eye holes, the nose, and all that stuff, to begin, yeah, setting up the head. One thing to keep in mind is that the nose is quite deep at the bottom and quite far forward at the top, like this. Has this sort of inwards, you could say, slope. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Oh, Okay, so we have the mouth, or the teeth right here. The teeth can probably be a little bit further forward, like over here. There you go. Probably a little bit better in right there. Perfect. Okay, so we have the general head shape. Let me just adjust. Probably the top can probably be a little bit more, a little bit flatter. You're not going to see it be underneath the head, but I will never forget that it's super high and super round. So I need to adjust it for my mind's sake. Okay, there you go. Let's reinforce the jaw. There you go. This will, not really, I guess, cover the ins and outs of creating a full body character, I guess. Not really, we're not going to cover, why we probably talk about the different muscles, but stuff like, sculpting the head, we've done so much that I kind of want to get through this a little bit quicker so we can get into new stuff quicker. Like for example, the, yeah, stuff like the body muscles, the hand, and all that stuff. Oh no. This skull will not talk. No, not this one, okay? One is enough. One is enough. I don't need another one. And when I saw that in memes, I immediately thought like, this is gonna be so dumb. And I did not get disappointed. There you go. Okay. So we have the basic shape. Perfect. Let's get into the next step. Hold on. There you go. Okay. It looks like the jaw's quite high. I mean, quite low. Maybe that's just me. I'm going to pull it a little bit higher. I think that just kind of makes it more. Just look a little bit better. Kind of adjusting the proportions now that we have everything in here. Oh, perfect. Okay. The good thing is, if we care, or if we, kind of, I guess, think about the shape of the head a little bit more in the beginning, and actually add stuff like a good nose, or a good basically flesh out the face, we can then actually pull down his create different variants where his face maybe even revealed. We can see his face, not only his scarf covering it. We can actually create different variations of it to kind of see what it looks like. So that's why I kind of want to at least put some work into the overall face. There you go. Okay, so we have the basic skull shape now. Let's get into some more detail. Before we do that, I kind of want to adjust the head shape a little bit, make it a little bit thinner, not too much. There you go. Okay, let's go and add some eyes. I think, no, we don't need eyes right now. I'm gonna add my good old, I don't know what you call those, like diver goggles first, before we add actual eyes. Just because that's just faster to do. If I add my base mesh eyes to this, I always have to think about stuff like the textures that I need to add, and takes just a little bit more time. Doing it like this, I can just add some more volume to kind of suggest where the eyes are. Just way easier. Now we're gonna add some fat here, gonna flesh it out some more, maybe even reinforce the eyebrows some more here. There you go. We can also fill out now this sort of side here. This one is actually not that deep. If you look at your own face, you can see there's not really a deep spot right here. It is covered in muscles. We covered that recently quite a lot. We kind of, discussed why they actually are there, how this hole gets filled, and why there are muscles filling this hole. And apparently that is because the muscles control the ear. They kind of hold it in place. as far as I understood it. And yeah, basically, they kind of hold it in place. It's kind of going around the ear, so that makes sense. So we have the basic eyes here. We also need some fat down here, kind of padded. Perfect. Okay, so the eyes look pretty good. We could add some eye, I guess, like a silhouette, or just kind of maybe even, oh, hold on, do this, just kind of suggest where the eye will be. Maybe even open the eye. There you go, perfect. We can probably pull it higher here. Okay, there you go. Look at that, now he has beautiful eyes. Let's go to the next step. We have the forehead. We have no nose and nothing else. So why don't we go into the next step? I mean the next piece, which will be probably the nose. Let's go to the nose. The nose is quite deep right now. Why don't we reverse that? I like to fill this hole first. Then I'm going to use my mask brush, mask out the area of the nose, and then pull it out. There you go, invert, grab the snake hook brush, and pull it out. There you go. I will go for something more like a Final Fantasy phase. I'm going to explain what that is. They have a certain style, especially for male face. I guess for both female and male faces. But especially for male faces, it's quite obvious. Just because, you know, usually male faces are sharper. And so you can see it better in male faces than female faces. But they have a certain style to them, which I like to emulate on this, like in this sculpt. So yeah. Welcome back, David. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. Welcome back to this new project. We're gonna sculpt an entire character this time, not only a bust, but actually an entire character. It'll take a little bit longer, but of course, if it takes longer, we can cover more topics like texturing, rendering, lighting, and overall, you know, adding clothing and all that stuff. Which we have, I don't think we've ever created clothing before, so this will be interesting. But right now we're working on the head. So you can see I'm kind of because this is quite a rough head. I'm not gonna go over like I'm not gonna separate my workflow into the 3 levels necessarily. It's still gonna, you know, you see I've created the sculpt before I added anything else. But what I'm kind of doing right here is kind of transitioning between the next 2 levels, adding muscles and the fat pads basically. Just because it is more convenient sometimes. You know, sometimes you're working on the nose, but then, you know, it looks kind of weird because there's no fat pad around the nose. So I just like to add it to make it, you know, a little bit, make it look better before we add the rest of the face. Okay, let's get to the rest. My weekend was pretty chill. I've worked on video and just overall some, I guess, planning, you could say. And overall just, you know, kind of enjoyed the weekend. And yeah. The head is coming on well. Yeah, I mean, this is basically, you know, the good thing. So there's one thing that I actually, that I thought about over the weekend, which is I like to create likenesses, of course. You know, I've done it before multiple times, but the problem with likenesses a little bit is that they, on one part, look really good if they're done well. The problem is, though, that they hold you back in a different way. The way that I mean is that they require more time to, you know, just they require more time. What I mean with that basically is that every part of the sculpt just takes longer. So for example, you can see I've already created the general shape of the character. You know, I've created the lips, I've created the nose, and I've created most of the stuff that I need for the head. If I would do the same for the likeness scope, or you know, I detail it some more, and then it's basically the character's basically done for, you know, for the beginning. The problem with likeness sculpting, or you know, the part about likeness sculpting that holds you back in a way, is first of all you have no room for interpretation, which means that you sort of you're kind of restricted to a certain look because, you know, you're trying to capture likeness, and also it takes longer because you need to get it right. Observing and, you know, always tweaking the character until it looks like, or the sculpt until it looks like the character, can take quite a while. And that's not really the case when you're creating original characters, because you yourself can kind of decide what he or she or they will look like. So, you know, you overall just have some more, you're more free in your interpretation, and this way, you know, it's not only easier, I would say, but it's also quicker. And I kind of miss creating like quick characters, like for example the orc character. We haven't really worked on a character for quite a while now. I've done one recently off stream, but on stream we haven't really done that too much. You know, we've created, I think the last one we've really created was the female orc. So I kind of wanted to get into it again, and yeah, now we're here. Creating a character that isn't based off of a real character, which is, of course, which gives us some freedom. There you go. So, of course, yeah, that's kind of refreshing to do. You know, we're not going to go into the nose too much just now. We're going to talk about that later. I want to go over the rest of the face a little bit more before we get there. We have the chin right there, perfect. We could maybe add some more volume here, but we don't really need to right now. We can add the neck later. Okay, smooth this out some more. Perfect. So we have basically every landmark in here. We can now kind of tweak them a little bit, make them look more more human, you could say, more refine them a little bit. There you go. Smooth them as well. We talked about that in the last feedback session. How I like to basically add everything quite quickly. Oh, hold on. I like to add everything that I want, and then afterwards, once everything is in the face, for example, then I like to sculpt. I mean, I like to smooth, so that it looks very, very rough in the beginning, but then once I have everything in the sculpt, then I begin basically smoothing. This way I can fully focus on the structure. I can see the structure of the face before then afterwards smoothing it. Usually if you smooth, you lose that clearness, you could say. It's similar to blurring an image. So I like to, you know, overall just make sure that everything's in there before I smooth, and not only kind of remove the structure of the face, but also hold on, but also basically, yeah, make the face smoother, the head smoother, which makes it, you know, a little bit unclear where everything is. I'm gonna add the ears first. The ears need to be first. Keeping in mind that the ears are in the middle of the head. No, the jaw ends in the middle of the head, which looks fine to me. So the next step will be to add the ears. One thing to keep in mind, usually the skull ends. So of course you have this sort of this round shape going into the head again, down here, for the skull. And the skull down here, roughly in its z-axis, ends between the nose and the lips, somewhere in that range. Sometimes, you know, at the base of the nose, sometimes a little bit lower than that, but usually roughly in between that, horizontally, you know, going from here, zip, Looks to be pretty good. Perfect. Okay. Let's add the ear. The ear also begins at the base of the nose, so quite convenient there. There you go. Okay. Creating some more, making the face a little bit more angular. We learned that word last week. There you go. Going from the base of the nose to the eye. Perfect. Invert. I like to remove dynamic topology for the eye when I pull it out, just because then we retain the amount of value that the amount of volume that we have. If we use dynamic topology, because we use the snakehook brush, we sometimes lose the volume because it kind of subdivides and smooths, I think, the volume, which makes it so that the more you pull it out, the more volume you lose. And removing dynamic topology kind of prevents that. So this way you can pull out the shape of the ear first, and then afterwards we can enable dynamic topology to add back that structure or that geometry. You can see right here. First we stretch them out, then the geometry, and now we can add more resolution to it. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna enable front faces only because ears are quite thin. So to not adjust the other side and ruin the ear, we need to enable front faces only, so that we only adjust the faces that face us. Good old trick for the shape of the ear. It's basically a C and a Y. The C on the outside and the Y on the inside. It's gonna be clearer later. Right now it's kind of, just a kind of scribble inside of the ear, I guess. We can look at it in just a second once we kind of worked on the ear a little bit more. There you go. That's quite big. Let me just adjust that. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller probably. There you go. Okay. So we do this, and then for the other side right here, looks like this. We have quite a confusing mess right here. I'm just gonna do this so we have a clearer canvas to work with, basically. Dig in here to create the the ear hole, and then create the rest of the ear shape. Okay, so now that we have the outer shape, it's time for the inner shape. The inner shape is maybe even simpler than the outer shape. It might not look super simple when you first look at an ear, but the ear is probably one of the simplest, pieces of, I guess, anatomy to sculpt. Let's go into the ear shape. So we have the C shape on the outside. That's like this. Ooh, C shape. And then we have the Y shape. The C shape kind of goes then into the middle of the ear right here. It just ends in this sort of pit. And then the Y shape is basically utilizing this sort of hole here in the middle. And then going, so we're using the mask. The C shape is this. Well, it's kind of a scuffed C, but this is the C shape. We can then expand it to go into the middle. But this is the C shape. And then the Y shape is coming from here to here. That's the first part of the Y, and then the other part of the Y is like this. So this will be the two, I guess, arms of the Y, and then where my arms meet, that is the bottom part. There you go. Ear shape referred to as a number 9 or question mark. Yeah. I like to use C and Y because they're quite clear letters, and you can easily see the two letters if you look at an ear. So yeah, there you go. Hold on, I'm gonna decrease the strength so we can work a little bit. We can fine tune it a little bit here. Perfect. So as you can see here, we have the C shape. And then we have the Y shape right there. Do you see the Y? Do you see it? Do you see it? Yep, there it is. Let's fine tune it. Let's make it a little bit more detailed. Or at least, you know, with the amount of resolution that we currently have. We don't have that much, so we can't really detail it too much, but we can do a little bit. There you go. Yeah. I've talked about, you know, the analogy of seeing Y quite a lot. Basically, every time I sculpt ears, and oftentimes somebody said like, oh, well, I've never thought about it like that. That's actually pretty simple, you know. It's always funny to read, you know, this sort of revelation. Like, oh, well, it's actually so simple. I remember when I discovered it. Do you see what I see? Please, one joke a week is enough, okay? I don't need more. One bad joke. Okay, the ears are okay for now. We can maybe pull them a little bit further forward. There you go, perfect. Okay, so we have everything in the face that we need. Why don't we add the neck? I always like to say the head, it doesn't really look like a head without a neck. So I just like to add the neck as well to kind of make it look less like a floating head, basically ground it into something, make it look as if it's part of something, and adding the neck is the best way to do that. There you go, a slight backwards angle for the neck like this, not too much, especially for the back. Usually the front is, if you could see it right here, hold on. Or you can't really see it. Let's look at this fella over here. Look at him. You can see from here to the collarbone, which is right here, it's going in this direction, like downwards to the right. And the neck, as you can see, especially, you know, because my white face behind him, you can see it very clearly. It's going down, and then like it's doing, hold on, this. So it's going straight down first, and then it's going diagonally down like this. So you basically have the head right here, then you have a cylinder going like this, connecting to the head, and then you have sort of like a hold on, like a thumb that goes like this. There you go. So that's the torso, then that's the neck, and then you have the head. I don't know how to make the head. The head is round. There you go. Okay. So you can see the neck goes backwards slightly, not in the back, but in the front. That's what we have here. Perfect. So yeah, there you go. We have a neck. The neck isn't perfect yet. We need to adjust it a little bit. First of all, I think the width is okay. The one thing that I don't like is that it's not really connecting to the head. If you look at my head, for example, you can see right there, you can see the jaw going like this, but there's still this sort of triangle right here. See, like that right there, here. There's some room underneath for, you know, stuff like, hold on, can I move my tongue down there? Oh, there it is. the part of where the tongue is basically located, like underneath here, where it transitions into the neck. There's some room underneath. This is basically only the jaw right now. We need some room for the tongue. Oh, so why don't we add that? It's just like this simple, easy peasy. It's basically just making the jaw horizontal, like this. Perfect. Maybe a little bit more to kind of transition better into the chin. There you go, perfect. Okay, perfect. Smooth it a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. So now that we have the neck and the head, we can now, I guess, refine it a little bit. Before we do that though, I kind of want to look at the neck a little bit more. We don't really need to look at the neck too much right now, because we will go into the rest of the body a little bit later. So yeah, you can see how much more it looks like a head now, just now that we have the neck. Okay, let's look at the parts of the head and kind of adjust them. I don't like that the nose is so far forward, so I'm going to pull it back a little bit, probably the lower jaw a little bit as well. It generally is good if the nose is the one, or if you have this sort of downward slope, or like this sort of, hold on, like this sort of downwards in slope for the face. So the nose is the one that is the furthest forward, then the upper lip is the second furthest forward, followed by the lower lip, and then the chin. The chin and the lower lip can kind of compete with which one's further forward, but in general the upper lip is generally the one that is in front of the lower lip and the chin. Okay, so now that we have the general landmarks of the face in here, we can now lower the strength of the brush to work on the details some more. Stuff like adding these small, creases here to just kind of reinforce the structure a little bit to make it more visible. Okay. And the good thing is also, because we don't really try to capture a likeness, we can quicker go into the next level of resolution, which also lets us work some more on, some details. Detail work, I think, is pretty, especially the second level of resolution is probably my favorite, because then you can actually make the face look like an actual face. This still looks very, very rough. And once we get into the next step, the next level, then it really looks like a face. This kind of looks like a rough sketch. And then afterwards, it looks like an extra face. And then the next, basically, levels are only really there to add some more detail to the overall sculpt. Okay. Go in here. Pull the mouth corners back. Generally, let's look at my face. Let's see if that's actually the case. It's quite small there. Hold on. You can see, looking at the profile view, the mouth corner roughly ends where the nose ends as well. You can see, there it is. You can see the nose corner right there. You can see the mouth corner right there. Roughly in the same spot when it comes to this axis. It was too far forward beforehand. Oh, that's Photoshop. There you go. So we pull it back a little bit. We could pull forward the nose, but the nose is also quite far back into the face. So I would rather pull back the mouth. Okay. And now we're just tweaking, and not really twisting, but tweaking the parts of the face that need some tweaking that we want to tweak. How about the nose? Making it a little bit more straight. I like to have this one kind of characteristic of the Final Fantasy male face is that they have this very straight nose with not really like a bump here in the middle like I have. I don't know if you could see that. Like a straight nose, and then quite a thin or slim tip, nose tip, like this. There you go. It looks kind of weird right now, especially because we don't have that much resolution. Let's see. Go in here. There you go. Yeah, that's okay for now. We can probably work this out some more later. Okay. The eyes look very scuffed right now, of course. We don't really have any real structure on them right now. They're just holds, but that's okay. They're really just there to be a placeholder for the eyes later. One thing to keep in mind is that the inner corner is quite deep in the face. They were quite far forward. Now that should be better. There you go. Okay, that's better. Okay. One more thing that is quite indicative, I think it's the word, to an age. It's not necessarily age related, but this fat pad above the eye that creates sort of the crease for the eyelid. The more it kind of covers the eye, the more it or kind of the bulkier it is, you could say, or the more it kind of falls down, droops down, whatever you want to call it, the older a person gets. So if we kind of remove some volume here, it'll probably look a little bit younger. This is supposed to be more of a young character, so by kind of removing some of that value, we can probably make him look a little bit younger. Not trying to remove everything, because we still need that crease for the eyelid, just a little bit. Okay, also keeping in mind the eyes are probably a little bit closer together than I want them to be. We can pull them out a little bit. General rule, the corner, I mean the width of the nose is basically the space between the inner corner of the eye. So you can basically either measure the width and then put that in here between the eyes, or we can just say the most out, the outest part of the nose is where the corner of the eye should begin. And this is definitely a better spot than what it was before. Perfect, okay. Also, one thing to keep in mind is generally the eyelid, the upper eyelid is further in front, or yeah, further in front of the lower eyelid. So it's more like this. Hold on. Where this eyelid is further in front than the other one. In this direction, in the Y direction. Like this. Okay. We're on a good path. I don't like the sort of thinness of the mouth right now, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit. Okay, that's better. I think the chin is okay. We could maybe give it some more volume here. Give it some more structure. Generally, the style of Final Fantasy is like pretty natural, pretty realistic, but then with some very defined edges. For example, for the nose are usually quite defined. The chin, the jawline, maybe even the eyebrows. Those are all very, very sharp features, you know, for male characters at least. So that's what we kind of try to incorporate here as well. Okay. Imagine being the 14th Final Fantasy. It's crazy that there's like that many parts. You know, usually games go to 3 max. Then we have 14. I think now we already have like 16 or coming out soon. I don't even know when they started. I think they were like one of the first game studios that actually made games. Pretty crazy. And they just continued naming them all Final Fantasy. I don't even know if they're all connected, or if they're just like the same, if they have like the same theme. Fate franchise. I don't even know what the Fate franchise is. Yeah, Half-Life is like, well, you know, we had our fun, but why would you have more fun? You know, why don't we just work on our, you know, our what is it? Our game store. Okay. I think we're at that point where we can almost go to the next level of detail. We're just kind of, you know, setting everything up so that everything is roughly in a good position to go to the next level. Making the contours and everything quite sharp. There you go. That's why it's called Final Fantasy. The producer took a big leap with the first game. Just could just as easily be a failure and lose them all the investment. Is that actually the lore, or is that more hypothesis? There you go, look at him. Isn't he looking like a Chad? Giving him like a nice square chin. Look at him. He's looking more and more like he's gonna steal your money in the break room. Look at him. Don't you hate him already? There you go. And then we're gonna add the scythe and all the black goth looking or dark looking clothes as well. He's gonna look even more like an edgy teenager. There you go. The problem is he's not only gonna look like an edgy teenager, he's gonna look like a good looking edgy teenager, which is the worst. You know, you could roast him for his clothing, but then he's just gonna take it off and he's gonna roast you by just being there. There you go, look at him. Tough guy, exile. Yeah, box shit. Look at him. He's looking right into your souls, even though he doesn't even have eyes. Okay, I think I wanna. Yeah. I think we're ready to go to the next level. But the next level is not going into the next resolution. It is actually saving the file. We haven't done that before. I don't want to lose 45 minutes of work. Oh, hold on. There you go. Version 1A. Perfect. Okay. So now that we have all the landmarks in here, we can go to the next level of detail to really, really refine them. Hold on. Tweaking a few parts here. What does it look like when you pull this closer? No. No, actually, yeah. Make the face a little bit slimmer will probably help a little bit. The ears are quite big. Maybe we can make them a little bit smaller. Look at him. Okay. Oh, hold on. No, that's good. Oh wait, we actually need to add some of that, what is it called? Those clinch muscles. The jaw muscles right there. Give him that Chad look even more. Look how it kind of highlights his his jawline even more. We kind of have to remove some of this sharpness in his jawline. Not because it's going to cut our wrist at some point, but actually because it's too sharp. That's better. Okay. Look at him. Smiling like he knows what's up. Hold on, maybe we can even lower his eyes a little. What does that look like? Yeah, it's too high actually. Oh, that's one thing that I actually learned while setting up an equalizer. A good trick when you try to kind of like if you record, for example, sound, and then you want to, I guess, use an equalizer to, I guess, improve what it sounds like. An equalizer is basically where you can adjust the different, what is it called? different ranges of the voice, where you can say, well, this range, like the bassy range, the very, very bassy range at the bottom should be a little bit lower, so it sounds more like a telephone, I guess, or like a like a mobile phone call. Or you want to increase the middle parts to make it, or the last range to make it sound clearer. You can do that in there. And a good way to kind of see what the changes actually do, because usually you just change them by like a few, what do you call it, like a small value. You don't really hear the changes necessarily. So one thing you can do, the masseter, oh no, maybe, I've never learned what the muscles are called, so maybe. A good way to see what the changes actually do that you do to your voice is to do drastic changes and then bring them down to an okay level afterwards, so that you know, or that you first know what the changes do, and then you can compare it to, or then you can adjust it and fine tune it to the level that you actually want it to be in. We can do the same for the sculpt. You can see the eyes could be pretty high, could be pretty low. Why don't we just pull them down like over here? Okay, well, this is probably too much. Hold on. We just do this, pull them down. Okay, that looks pretty good. If we then press Ctrl Z, we can see what it looks like before and compare the two and see if maybe this one looks better, maybe the other one looks better. It's a little bit easier to see if we do it in one go. You can definitely see the change there. You can see how high the eyes are now compared to the previous version. If we increase the strength a little bit and pull them down like this. Well, this is probably a little bit too low, but see how high they are here. So just by lowering them a little bit, we can really change the look of the character. Maybe even lower the nose a little bit. And this way, with this simple technique, we can see what drastic changes would do. And maybe the drastic changes are too much, but we can still see that we can gain from these drastic changes. So why don't we make less drastic changes to still utilize them, but not as drastic. The parotid gland. Oh no, I already have trouble remembering this muscle here in the neck. Okay. Oh no, that's too much. Okay. So now that we pulled the eyes lower just slightly, I think that's better. Yeah. What if we pull the chin up a little bit? What does that look like? Well, okay. Comparing this to that, I think I like this one more. A more long face fits quite well to this character, I think. I think that works. What about making it wider? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Like this. That's probably better. Yeah. You can see pretty defined and chiselly chin, you could even say. You have basically a box right here, like this. There you go, look at this. That's what I'm kind of looking for, refined or defined structures in the face. Same for the cheekbone, for example, maybe even the nose here, for example. That's what I'm kind of looking for. You can maybe even pull this forward a little bit more, not too much. We could maybe even, I kind of want to pull the lips a little bit lower. Usually if you want to make a character look more masculine, more male, whatever, one easy thing to do is just to increase the distance from the nose to the lips. So basically this distance right there, this one. Yeah, just, pull the lips a little bit lower to kind of suggests a more male or a more masculine looking face. This might be too low. We can also just increase the lip size, but I don't want to do that. I'm gonna pull them up a little bit. There you go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It is time for the next level. 50. There you go. And then once we have the generic face in place with the basic I guess, definitions. Oh, hello. I don't want to pull you. I want to paint or brush over you. Once we have that, we can get into the next step, which would be the body. We are at... we're already quite far into the stream, or the time is quite quite late. So we can probably only start with the general setup, or you know, creating the basic frame for the body. But I think that's still better than only working on the head. You know, I said we wanted to start working on the body today, and that's what we're going to do today. We're not only going to work on the face. Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? Okay. Putting in the general shape of the lips. One ball right here in the middle, and then two on the side, like this. Smoothing it. Okay. Do the same at the bottom right here. Although only two balls right there. It's quite thin right now, so I'm going to pull it outwards a little bit. I'm going to adjust the shape of the lip a little bit. Redefine it, basically. Create this sort of transition to the nose. Look at that. And we have immediately way more detail. And you can see I started by just adding these brushes. I didn't really smooth them, but then once I'm kind of comfortable with how they look at that. You see, they're still, you know, you can see, oh, he looks like an old character. He's super, super rough looking because of all these individual strokes. But now that we have them and they look quite okay. They look okay. I mean, good. Let's say good. Let's be confident about our sculpt. You know, once that looks good and we like the structure, we can then just smooth it. And then he looks way, way younger. Look at him getting younger by the second. There you go. And now he looks way younger than he did before. Perfect. Okay, let's get in here and do some more work. The lips look kind of too far back. I'm going to pull them in a little bit. That's pretty good. I like it. Maybe we can pull this down a little bit. There you go. That's better. It looks quite deep here. I think I want to pull this out some more. I'm just going to do that. There you go. Yeah, that's probably better. Look at him. So once we have the basic shape of the head, I'm going to show you what I mean with the, well, maybe not standard, but, well, you could say standard, but the Final Fantasy style, let's say, for the face. I have a certain scene in mind where we can see that very, very easily. So we're going to look at that and then maybe even compare it and see some difference between our current sculpt and that sculpt. I mean, that character. So we can maybe adjust some things here and there to make it look even more like Final Fantasy. There you go. Okay, perfect. Let's work on the nose. As I said before, the nose straight, the bridge is straight, and then the tip is quite thin. Of course, we talked about the structure before. The structure in general. Hold on, let me just quickly check something. Okay, perfect. Okay, the bitrate has stabilized. So we talked about the structure of the nose before. You know, basic structure, nostril. Well, hold on. Nostril. Oh. Nostril. Going into the tip of the nose, like this. We have two sides here. Perfect, 1 and 2. And then we have the bridge separated into the soft tissue part. And then we have the bone part right there. You can see where the soft tissue starts by basically just feeling here, kind of squeezing, and then you can even move it around and see where it kind of doesn't really move anymore. It's quite easy to analyze. You know, you could just go from here at the top of your nose and try to move it. Doesn't really work until you get to a certain point where it gets softer, and then you reached the soft tissue part. It's roughly in the middle of your nose bridge, so right here somewhere. That's also where you would have a small bump that would look like this. Oh, hold on. That would look like this. Well, this looks kind of crazy, but still, you know, because the transition from the bony part to the soft tissue part can vary. Sometimes the angle going from the forehead to the nose bridge is kind of steeper like this. Sometimes it's not as steep, so it goes straight down. So that kind of creates either a bump or a no bump. That's kind of how you can see it. So if we look at the structure of the nose, what I usually like to do is I like to begin here in the middle. You know, it starts quite small down here, like this, and then it fans out and creates this nose tip shape, like this. What I actually recently just discovered is a variation that you can do to make the nose tip, or that I recently understood, let's say, is how you can create thin noses, let's say. Of course, variations in the face are very common, or basically everything can vary, or almost everything. The nose tip as well. And you can not only create a nose tip shape that looks like this. Well, let's do it more like this. There you go. It can actually look something more like this. There you go. This way, the tip is just thinner. And this way we can, well, self-explanatory, create a thin nose tip. So yeah, that'll look more like this. There you go. We could do this, or we could do something more like this. But we're looking for the thin nose tip, so we're going to pull it back together. Hold on, let me do a few adjustments here. And then another variation for the nostril is you can either, hold on, there you go. You can either start the nostril and do it like this, or another variation is you can do it like this, go inwards and then down again. As you can see in here, you can see this part is deeper, which creates sort of this bone shape right here. Yeah, just another variation for the nostril. There you go. Okay, this looks kind of weird. I kind of have to, let me see, I'm doing something wrong. Let's see. So generally the shape of the nose from the bottom is something like this. Well, hold on. This. Da-da-da. This is quite straight right now, so we can probably pull out the nostrils. Oh, nostrils a little bit like this. Perfect. That works quite well. Okay. Let me adjust the nostril shape down here. Make it quite sharp. Perfect. There you go. Might be too far out, so we can just pull it in a little bit more. Yeah, that's probably better. Look at him. Okay. Wait. There's something wrong with the nose. Okay. That works quite well. Looking at the nose holes, they are sort of ovals, which kind of get closer together as they get to the tip of the nose. So like this. Perfect. Pretty simple. They don't go that far to the tip. Maybe a little bit more. There you go. Okay. Okay, perfect. Smooth it out some more. We could give the bridge of the nose some more detail. Why don't we do that, you know, Final Fantasy style? I'm not quite sure if they do that necessarily, but why not? Just kind of enhancing the structure a little bit, maybe even smoothing the parts around the edge. Can make the edge a little bit sharper. That might be too strong, so we can just smooth it out a little bit. Look at that. Now we have this nice flat top right there. Okay, perfect. So now we have the nose. Maybe we can pull this down a little bit. There you go. Generally, a good way to create very, very sharp edges with dynamic topology is to begin, you know, for example, adding geometry like this. Well, no, yeah. Then we use the crease brush to create the nice edge right here. And then to make the edge even cleaner, we can smooth around the edge. This way we make basically the space around the edge smoother, not like this shape, so it doesn't look like this. Like this sharp fall off basically. It's hard to do like this. It is more like this. This way, I don't know, the edge just get highlighted a little bit more. That's what I like to do. There you go. So now we have the nose. Why don't we go into the eyes? So the eyes are quite underdeveloped, I would call it. Let's go in here and change that. Okay, first of all, we have the eyelids right here. What I like to do to just kind of give these eyelids a little bit more detail is to go in here and use the crease brush. Go in here and create these nice sharp edges. Generally, the lower eyelid goes basically straight down, and then it is covered by a little layer of fat in front of it, like this, which kind of creates a transition to the cheekbone bone that goes into the middle to the nose, basically, right here. It's not that apparent, especially when you have a young character, so it's more like this. We could maybe highlight the cheekbone a little bit more doing this. We don't really need to, though. That's pretty good. Okay. Let's get to the other part of the eye, the upper eyelid. We still need to change some things, but let's kind of reinforce the eyelid a little bit more. Pull this out to create the eyelid. I mean, you know, detail it or refine it. There you go. Perfect. Create the nice crease where the eyelid is kind of overlapping or underlapping rather with the fat pad above it. Okay, I think the upper eyelid is too far out, so I'm going to pull it in a little bit. Maybe smooth it a little bit. We then pull the lower eyelid out a little bit to create the C shape where the sphere can rest in. The eye, basically. There you go. Okay, we don't really need to go deeper into the eye, but just because, you know, we're gonna put the eye in there anyway. So now it's just all about shaping the eye. Final Fantasy has a certain style or a certain shape to the eyes. I've seen multiple. The one that I can remember right now is like this, like a tilted box, you could say. Hold on. It's like this. That's sort of the shape for the eyes. Let's see if we can style them like this. So basically the upper eyelid is quite high. I mean the upper corner of the eye. And then the lower corner is quite low. Like this. Yeah, that works quite well. Let's leave it there for now. Yeah. Maybe we can pull down the eyes just slightly. There you go, that's better. Yeah. Let's reinforce and define the eyebrows. Beginning by just adding a little bit more volume here. There you go. Smoothing it. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Looks pretty good already. We can probably work this out some more. One thing that I like to remember, or that I like to guide myself with, is the line coming from between the eyes, right here, the C shape, and then basically creating a certain shape for the eyebrows. What I mean is, we have the C shape, and then it goes out and comes in again. This is basically the underside of the eyebrow, the upper side, and then of course you have this piece right here as well. There you go. That's basically the shape of the eyebrow. I mean, like this. And then you have this upper part right there. You could divide it like this if you want to, but the general line that I keep in mind is basically this. This always kind of helps me remember what the shape of the eyebrow actually looks like this. Generally, the middle piece right here, this piece is further forward than these two edges here on the outside, which is correct right now. Maybe we can pull this a little bit further in. Not too much though. Actually, I want to pull this back a little bit. Not too far though. There you go. Perfect. Hold on. Adjustments. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so we have this sort of V shape going outwards like this. Oh, that's quite strong. And then we can use this to sort of create this inner fat pad right here. Give it maybe some volume, not too much. That's pretty good. Smooth it out because he's supposed to look quite young. That looks pretty good. I like it. Look at him. Okay. Let's go to the forehead. The forehead doesn't really need that much adjustment. First of all, I just want to give it some more resolution. That's why I just want to tap over it. Save it first. I'm always scared when I try to use the smooth brush. First of all, because, well, really only because when I do it too quick, when I tap smoothing too quick, sometimes Blender just crashes. Nobody likes crashes, so, you know, try to avoid that. There you go. There you go. Looking pretty good. I like it. Oh, hello. Hold on. There you go. That's looking pretty good. Let me see if we make... What if we make it a little bit thinner here? Doesn't really make a big difference. Maybe slightly. What if we lower the eyes just a little bit more? Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Okay. Now we need to put the forehead a little bit lower. Make it a little bit lower. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Let's go to the ear. The ear looks pretty scuffed. So let's add some more detail here. We can now reinforce the C and Y shape, make it more visible. Today actually, I remember back in the day watching these videos from this Australian guy commentating or over random videos like in Australian accent, you know, making it funnier than it maybe actually is because he has the funny accent. And then I see that there was like a new video that got recommended to me from him, which was basically him interviewing celebrities for their new movies. And he played this game called like, what was it? Guess the Aussie slang or something, where he gives them different, you know, slang words from Australia, and they try to guess what it means. Do you ever use the flatten brush? I don't even know what that is. Hold on. Is that this one? Yeah. Not really. Maybe a good way to do that, or I think a good way to use the flatten brush would be for stylized characters, because stylized characters usually have quite defined edges. If you, for example, look at Valorant or Fortnite, they have quite defined edges. And the way you can do that, for example, is by, you know, not only using the crease brush to make these edges sharper, right here, like this. You can also use the flatten brush, if I remember correctly, and then you can do this, and you flatten everything out. Hold on, let me set this to full strength and see what happens. Yeah, like this. You make everything flat, basically, to enforce these edges some more. Well, they might be too edgy now, but yeah. No, I don't really use that brush. I'm quite comfortable with only using smooth. Well, I only use 7 basically. Clay strips, number 1. Number 2 is crease. Number 3 is grab brush. 4 is mask brush. Number 5 is snakehook brush. Number 6 is the pose brush for full body characters. And number 7 is the smooth brush. Everything else I don't really use. So yeah, he interviews the celebrities, and so of course, even just, you know, doing like a game with them in like this interview setting is, first of all, you know, something unusual, because usually you just have people like coming there and say, well, did you like the role of your, you know, how did you you know, how was it playing the role? And oh yeah, you know, it was was great, and I was able to, you know, connect to the character and blah 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 blah. Boring. You know, and then, you know, sitting there with some Australian dude with a thick accent, and he plays this game with you in this like interview block basically. It's not only, you know, funny in itself, and the game overall is pretty funny with the words that they, like, you know, of course, have to guess. But what I probably like the most about these sort of about his interviews is I like to see, you know, what I always like to think about when it is about, like, when you think about, like, when you see people on TV or on YouTube or something, what I always think about is, well, basically, like, that's also just like another human being. that is basically me, but with a different like background story, basically. You know, you could have probably ended up there, but you didn't, because you probably, you know, got born somewhere else. Your situation isn't the exact same. You know, you're basically like him. You're basically just like another dude that met with, for example, he's just another dude that met with the other dude that has a job as being an actor, and for some reason being an actor is super makes you super famous. And I like when, like, actors, for example, that always have to act they have to put in a professional mask, basically, to not say something wrong, and they've been trained to say, you know, certain things and not reveal, for example, like spoilers and all that stuff. So they're always like, not only is it stressful to do like interviews back to back to back to back to back, which is already stressful, but also just overall not saying anything wrong and, you know, acting professional and, you know, sitting there for hours on end to just do interviews. It's probably pretty not only frustrating, but also probably pretty not frustrating, but what is it, draining. So it's always, what always happens with his sort of interviews is he does like the normal interview first, like, oh, well, what do you think about the movie? I like the movie. Yeah. Did you like it? Was it easy to get into the character and all that stuff? And then afterwards he said like, okay, well, let's get into the business stuff. Let's go into the real stuff. And then he says like, oh, well, I want to play a game with you. And he goes over the rules. Like, I want to guess the Aussie slang basically. And he talks about what the rules are. They have to guess the slang word and what it means. And if they get over 50% of the answers correct, they win a prize. Usually it's just some stupid little prize, of course, like, oh, well, you win a jar of Vegemite, or what was the other ones, like Speedos, just some random stuff, like, just, it's not really about the prize, it's really only about the experience, I guess. And what I really like about his interviews is not really necessarily the game, but you can visually see how the person that he's talking to, you can especially see it with the interview of him with the Jason Momoa. He was, first of all, like, you could see he's been through like multiple interviews before, and then he's just sitting there like already maybe not annoyed but drained and still trying to act excited about the interview. And then they talk about, oh, well, yeah, did you like the character and what do you like about it and all that stuff, and then he talks about it in kind of in this sort of neutral facial expression, and then afterwards he says like, okay, well, I'm gonna play this game with you, and he's like, okay, what are we gonna play? He's like, okay, we're gonna play guess the Aussie slang, and then he's already like, you can see a little smile rising, or like he's kind of maybe not surprised, but he's expecting something interesting, and then he says like, okay, you're gonna guess Aussie slang, and then you're gonna win this jar of Vegemite. And then he's like, you can just see Jason Momoa just completely, smiling and being like super happy and I don't know, like super joyful. That it's not just another boring interview with another dude, but it's actually like this refreshing sort of short amount of time. Like usually it's like 8 minutes that every interviewer has with this dude just playing a game, as if they wouldn't even be there in this interview, and just having fun, and just seeing like the transition from, oh my god, there's another interview, hopefully I'm gonna get through this at some point, and then them getting like super involved and trying to win the game and getting super happy, and at the end, you can really see the transition from being super maybe not annoyed, but drained and exhausted, and then afterwards like being super happy and overall just enjoying themselves. And yeah, I think the one with Jason Momoa is super fun. The next one, probably the second favorite. I've watched all of them. I think there were like 5 of them. The second favorite is probably the one with Ryan Reynolds, the newest one, where he plays the same. They talk about, oh, well, you have kids? Yeah, I have 3. And what was the question? Oh, yeah. What do you call ankle biters? And then Ryan Reynolds is like, oh, well, children? Yeah, exactly. And then like, oh, well, you have children too, right? Yeah, I have the children and all that stuff. And then after like 7 minutes, the moderator, the timekeeper, because they have like this super strict schedule of like 7 minutes for each interview, they go in there, and like the timekeeper says like, oh, well, we have to wrap up. And then you could see like Ryan Reynolds like, oh, what, we have to wrap up? Like, oh no, I want to play some more. And then he's like, okay, let's do one more. And then they don't even want to stop because it's like such a fun experience, compared to all the other boring interviews, and you can really see that in their faces. I don't know, it's just super fun to see for me, seeing how they like get out of this sort of inhuman business phase or sort of mode out of that, going back into their normal, like, relatable and normal human side again. I don't know, it's just super fun to see. Maybe that's just me. Okay, we've definitely worked on the ears enough now. So, general shape of the ear, we have the C. Ooh, there you go. We could include, you know, the earlobe as well. C, there you go, which then goes into the middle of the ear. We could say, well, there's a C as well, but why don't we not call it a C, but rather a Y? Hold on, a Y. Yep. So we have the C on the outside and a Y in the middle. Pretty simple and pretty easy. Okay, there you go. Looks pretty good. I like it. Maybe we can make the ears a little bit smaller. We're not gonna really see them, but you know, that's pretty good. I like it. What if we pull those further in? Nope, that's too much. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Let's go into the mouth. I think the mouth can use a little bit more work. I don't even know if we worked on the mouth before in this level of detail. So once we have the mouth, we can probably go to the rest of the body. We're gonna work probably like, I don't know, like 30 minutes more on the body, and then we're probably gonna wrap it up. But that means tomorrow we can fully commit to the body, and hopefully also start a little bit earlier. Today we started a little bit later, so tomorrow we should definitely start a little bit earlier, so we have some more time as well. There you go. Yeah, so if you're looking for new videos to watch on YouTube, what was it? I can't even remember the name. Hold on. Let me look it up real quick. Where are you? Aussie Man Reviews. Aussie Man Reviews. And then, you know, the first one you'll see is Ryan Reynolds becomes an honorary Australian. That's the first video. Or the latest installment of the interview section. Or video format. Oh. One thing to keep in mind is that we have this corner here, whereas this, we have the, what is it called? The, I don't know what the corner is called again. I forgot. But there's not just like this sort of hole there, but there's this tear gland? I can't remember. Right there. There you go. Okay. Yeah, we probably need to adjust the eyes a little bit more, but yeah, I like it. I think we're in a good spot here. One thing I want to adjust is the lip a little bit, not too much. There you go. Yeah, exactly. It's not really actors. It's basically anyone. Like, what I like to do is when I'm, you know, when I'm like talking with someone, what I like to do is sort of when it's, for example, like awkward or something, I just like to like point it out, because both people see or kind of recognize that it's awkward, but nobody wants to say it. So I think if once one person says it, it's sort of like a fun thing to talk about, because both sides know that the other side feels it, or probably, and by saying that you feel it, the other person can not only, you know, relate, of course, but also, you know, just share that experience with you. And I think that way you can very easily, you know, make the awkward situation less awkward, because you kind of, I don't know, it's a weird thing, but by just saying it, you kind of share the experience, and you can make it less, I don't know how to describe it. But yeah. Okay, so let's go over the Final Fantasy face look, so we can discuss what I mean with that. So overall, we talked about it before. Generally, defined features and pretty, well, yeah, defined features and a pretty angular face. Well, that probably means defined features, but oh yeah, a thin nose, like pretty big chin, thin nose, this sort of eye shape. The ears don't really matter that much. Let's go and look at the trailer for the new expansion, so we can see a certain face, which is perfectly probably shows us what this style actually looks like. So let's save this real quick. And then let's go to YouTube. So what is it called again? Oh, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker trailer. There it is. Okay, we don't really care about this. What I'm caring about is this scene. So, well, you can already see it there, but you can see it more in detail. You have this dude. You can already see defined nose, perfect edges, defined sort of edge down here, defined there. The lips quite defined, not super crazy. Also pretty thin, the lips. A very defined chin, defined underneath the lips right there. Let's go to the other character. Defined, maybe even this, the eyebrows. Jawline, you can see him. Maybe not as, you know, defined nose right here. The nose is pretty thin. We can see this line here, this edge going to the, like, on top of the nose, which we've also included. This is probably the main character that I like to reference. Very interesting chin. This is probably the main reference that we'll use. There's a bit of shot later. Hold on. Let's see. Oh. Nope, not you. Well, you also have like this opposite, of course, like this cat dude with like a very thin nose, bigger lips, smaller eyes. But that's not the one that I was looking for. We have this one. This is also similar to the other dude that we looked at. Very defined, very lean, you could say. Then you can see a female face, way smoother. Of course, it is quite generally that way for female faces in Final Fantasy, that they look pretty smooth. This one is especially smooth, you could say. You know, oh, hold on. Looking from the profile view, round nose, round sort of like transition to the forehead, You can't really see the forehead, but the forehead doesn't really look like there's like this edge right here for the eyebrows. Round chin, round lips, and then looking from the front, you can see the same. There's a better shot a little bit later. Hold on. We have this dude as well. Hold on. Look at him. He has a little bit smoother, I guess, edges. But oh, there's another one. The main protagonist. You can see the nose very clearly here. Well, hold on. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Oh, there it is. Well, yeah, very, very clear, sharp lip. Nose quite thin. We can see the nostril going downwards and then up again, or kind of going up and then downwards again. Come on, turn around. Show me your face. Da-da-da. Hero shot right there. You can see very, very defined cheekbone right there, muscle right there. Clear nose, quite thin. One thing that I wanted to look at though is somewhere further in the front. Somewhere more in the beginning. A closer shot of this dude right here. Isn't there a closer shot? I think I remember there being one. There it is. Well, yeah, probably. One thing that they usually or oftentimes have is this sort of downwards facing mouth. We could maybe include that as well. The lip looks quite similar. The ear isn't really, special necessarily, so we don't really need to look at the ear necessarily. Sharp jawline. I think we're pretty close. Maybe there are a few adjustments that we can make, but I think we're pretty close. Let's look at the other close-up shot. I think the other one kind of shows us better what the face looks like this. Perfect. Okay. Let's look back. Let's go back to here. So let's adjust the face a little bit. One thing that we kind of seen is the lip is a little bit thinner and also kind of downward facing, more like this. So we have this sort of curve going like this rather than just straight. Maybe even we can do the same for the corner of the mouth. Pulling it down slightly. There you go. Okay. The lips are quite thin. We could, just pull this down, I guess. Let's see what that looks like. It looks like he's sort of puckering his lips. I don't want to spend too much time on the face. As long as we get quite close, I think it's okay. We don't need to make it perfect. It's not supposed to be a likeness, Okay, make the lips quite refined, quite sharp right here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Our lower lip looks pretty good as well. I like it. We then have this sort of transition here. Maybe we can pull this back a little bit more. Perfect. It's already pretty smoothed out. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. We have this line right here from the fat going to the corner of the mouth. Maybe we can make that a little bit, bring that lower, further down like this. Okay. The nose looks pretty good. I like it. We can adjust maybe one thing. I think right here we can be a little bit thicker. Not too far. I think that's pretty good. To kind of create this very, very small bump right there. Kind of just adjusting a few things here and there, and then we are basically done with the face. Going in here, making this a little bit sharper. Okay. There you go. Maybe we can do the same for the eyebrow, not too much, just a little bit right here. Oh, let me look at the eye shape real quick. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Yeah, this is probably as close as we need to get to. We don't really need to go into more detail. One thing we're going to definitely do before we finish this is add eyes. Okay, do we have a better shot? Hold on, I'm gonna... Oh, there it is. Oh. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you in a second. There it is. Well... It's slightly there. You can see it goes up and then sort of horizontal, and then it goes horizontal and then up. It's slightly there, not super significantly visible. What about the hero shot? Do we see it better there? Come on. No, not really. Quite a natural eye shape. What about the other shot right there, this one? You can see slightly upwards. I mean... No, I think it's not really that important. For him, you can probably see it quite well because he's supposed to be cat boy. Upwards. Well, yeah. It's a general shape. You could say that's the normal eye shape. Yeah, maybe with some more definition if you want to. Show me your face. There it is. Yeah. The upper eyelid goes up and then horizontal. The other one goes horizontal and then up, basically. So let's do a few more adjustments here. First of all, there you go. I don't want to make it too blocky. We can keep it like this for now. Let's add some eyes. Wait. Okay. Okay. We will add the eyes. Adjust the eyelids to the eyes, and then we're basically done with the head. Then we can go into the next step, which would be adding the body. Nope. There you go. Base mesh eye. Perfect. Okay, we need only one eye. There you go. We don't need the other one. Make it bigger. There you go. And mirror it for now. And place it in the eye. I mean, in the head. Well, both. Okay. One thing to kind of see if they're in the right place is we can use material preview. We can see perfect eyes. We need to add the materials. Transmission. There you go. We have diffuse. We have normal. We have to do the same for the inner eye, the iris basically. But here we only have diffuse and normal. Diffuse here and normal there. Perfect, okay. So we can now kind of place the eyes. I think currently the eyes are not only too big, they're actually in the wrong place. Usually in general, the iris should be, when you look at the width of the open space of the eye, where you can see the eyeball basically, the iris should be in the middle of that, so that you have a generally the same distance from here to here that you have from here to here. That looks pretty good for now. Also, the iris should kind of scratch the lower eyelid. The lower eyelid should just cover a little super small amount of the eyelid, and the upper eyelid should cover way more. I think that's a good placement for now. Maybe maybe a little bit too far apart. One thing we can do to kind of gauge the size of the eyeballs would be to use them. To use an array modifier, set it to 5, and then 5 eyeballs are basically the width of the head. Maybe they're a little bit too small, making them a little bit bigger. Generally, what I've found is making them a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller than head width works quite well for me. So like this, we remove the array modifier and bring back the mirror modifier, but put the eyes back in. There you go. Okay. Also, one thing to keep in mind, or what I like to do, is I like to look at the corner of the mouth. I think in general, the corner of the mouth is roughly where the middle of the eye would be, or the middle of the iris. So roughly over there. So we have to adjust a few things here. Let's adjust the face. One thing we can do here is kind of just pull out sort of this space, kind of wrap it around the eye. That's pretty good. I like it. Also keeping in mind that the eye lids are quite thick. They're skin. Layers of skin wrapped around the eyeball. That's pretty good. So they have a certain thickness to them. Oh, hold on. There you go. It seems like they're quite far apart right now. I think I need to pull them closer together. Yeah, definitely. That's better. Yeah, that's better. He looks kind of like he's cross-eyed. That's probably because of the eye of the shape of the eye. Generally, where the iris is where you have the apex of the curve, I guess you could say, of the eye. So it should be the highest right there, and then just fall off on both sides. And then also the rotation of the eyeballs. Eyeballs don't really face forward perfectly. They actually face outwards slightly by 1 or 2 degrees. So one thing we can do is grab the eyeball and rotate it by 1 or 2 degrees outwards. There you go. Now he looks a little bit more like he's actually looking forward. Perfect. Let me make the eye a little bit smaller. Generally, the sphere of the eye, you can see right here, should fit into the, I guess, hole of the eye, between the eye, like where you can see the eyeball, basically. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. That's probably better. Maybe a little bit bigger. Perfect. That definitely looks better than before. Yeah, perfect. Okay, we have the head. Perfect. So the head is ready to be used. So now, tomorrow, we will get into the next step, which would be adding the rest of the body. Yeah. The rest of the body will follow. Now that we have the head, we can now use the head to establish or to measure the rest of the body. You know, as we talked about before. So tomorrow we will begin doing that. Probably tomorrow, if I think about it, we can probably block out the entire body, maybe even work on the basic volumes of the body as well, so that we can, maybe even have a rough but still a full body tomorrow at the end. That would be the next step. And then just refining it until we have a satisfying looking body. We can't really see the body anyway. The body is really just there to place the armor on top of it. But of course we need to have a good base to have a good, I guess, top cover. So yeah, that'll be the goal for tomorrow. Maybe you only wanted to see how I sculpt a Final Fantasy-like face. Maybe not. Tomorrow we will go into full body sculpting. So hopefully you enjoyed today's stream. Maybe it was helpful. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching, listening, chatting, or just being here. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. And tomorrow we will probably most likely start earlier than today and have some more time. So, hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Maybe I'll see you next time. Yeah. Take care.